Hello and welcome back to this revitalized episode of the Level Cap podcast, where Marco finally has Brad back, and we can talk about Level 99 games things.
I hope you guys enjoyed your episodes with Cameron, though.
Yes, and otherwise.
Was there any otherwise? I think it was just you and Cameron, wasn't it?
Yes, but we also talked about games and stuff.
Well, yeah, that's a usual fare. That's not a change. How can you revitalize by going back to what you were doing during the break, which is the same as what you're doing during the normal podcast? Marco?
It's revitalized because you're back from your vacation.
Yeah, but that's only a cast revitalization. It's not a whole podcast revitalization.
Well, it revitalizes part of the podcast.
I don't even know if it's revitalizing. You know, you're going from the new hotness back to the old busted that we had before. So.
Oh, you were never the old and busted, my fam.
No, I guess not. That mean you're the old busted.
It kinda. I am a bit of a curmudgeon, so.
I mean, it's got to be one or the other. So. You know, old busted.
Yeah, okay. You be Will Smith. I'll be Agent K.
Okay. See, nobody even knows what that actor's name is, even though he's a pretty well-known actor.
I was about to say Michael Caine, but that's not Michael Caine.
I'm absolutely sure. I am pretty sure it's Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones. Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. I defer judgment to you.
Kay is played by Tommy Lee Jones in the first 3 films. There you go.
Wait. In the first 3 films? That implies there's more.
Apparently there's a giant Men in Black fandom that we don't even know about.
Oh no, secret direct-to-home DVD movies.
I guess.
Agent K is secretly now played by Michael Caine. Ooh, he's British now.
I didn't realize there was a 3.
There was
there
is a Men in Black 3.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
that was
anyway,
around the time
okay.
of the prequels. Star Wars prequels.
I see. Soon the Men in Black trilogy will eclipse the Star Wars trilogies.
Yeah. We'll have Men in Black 4, 5, and 6, but they actually happen before 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah. Well, in that case, wouldn't the originals be 4, 5, and 6? That's the trouble with numbering, though. But that's why you should always subtitle instead of numbering. This is the trouble. We got into this. Yeah, we got into this problem with Pixel Tactics because we wanted Pixel Tactics 6 to actually be a prequel, but we couldn't make it Pixel Tactics 0. It should have been, Pixel Tactics, the Pixels Awaken or something, and that would have made it so much better.
That's true. But it would be really hard to get anybody on board with any of it. It's like, this is Pixel Tactics, Pixels Awaken, and this is Pixel Tactics, the Pixels Cometh, or something like that.
You like The Last Pixel, Return of the Pixel,
Oh, Revenge of the Pixel.
Yeah, A New Pixel.
A New Pixel! Oh my gosh. Yeah. Or the Pixel Jedi.
Pixel
no, that's
Wars.
Copyrighted. Pixel Wars.
Yeah.
Actually, why didn't we call it Pixel Wars?
Because it's more about tactics than about wars. I don't know, John, Marco. Don't look too deeply at these things. It's just a game.
Says the guy who lives off of games.
Yeah. So speaking of games, we're gonna talk about what we've been listening to today and skip over our game segment.
Wait. Before we get there, wait. I want to ask you how your vacation was.
it was good. I vacationed. Nothing happens. That's kind of the definition of vacation, right?
Not really. It really depends on
Let me tell you about all the interesting things I did on my vacation. I slept, spent a lot of time with my family, spent a lot of time with my wife, came home, now I'm back to work. How was your vacation, Marco?
I had none.
Well, that's also not too interesting because you go to work, you come back to work from work.
So is vacation just work wherein you sleep instead of work?
I did a little bit of work on 7th Cross and some writing and stuff. But no, it's the spending time with family that's the important part. Except I don't want to tell you guys about that because that'll be boring to you. It's only interesting to me.
That's true. I spent some time sitting beside the people I loved while watching TV.
Yeah, exactly. It's not interesting to say, but you still want to go home and do it during the holidays.
That's true. Okay, fine. Let's go to what we've been listening to, a new segment that Brad and I totally made up because we started talking about music before this podcast. Brad, tell me what you've been listening to this week.
Okay, so this week, my obsession all throughout the break has been this band called Gloryhammer. This is like epic fantasy power metal. It's kind of this. Each CD is kind of its own metal opera, and it's the story of this evil wizard Zargothrax who tries to destroy the kingdom of Dundee, this ancient Scottish kingdom, and the warriors who fight against him. And in the first one, they're like in medieval times, and Angus MacFife has to go get the sword or the glory hammer and defeat Zargothrax by throwing him into this icy pit. And there's evil unicorns and like barbarian warriors from space and all kinds of great stuff. And
space? Wait, what?
Yeah. So then
this was medieval times.
The kingdom enters an age of peace. 1,000 years later, in the year 1992, Zargothrax reappears. By now, they're all in space and everything's futuristic, and Zargothrax goes on this evil quest to get help from the Goblin King of a distant galaxy, and then he unlocks the Chaos Portal and unleashes the evil god Carviliath to destroy the universe. And it's great. It's really great. It's got this cool narration. It's pretty silly, but I love it. And so that's what I've been listening to over the break. Check it out, Gloryhammer. You can watch the entire or listen to the entire thing on Spotify if you pay for music, and you can pirate it all on YouTube if you don't. But it's worth listening to, definitely.
Oh my gosh! I mean, you made me listen to some of this like before we started this podcast, and you were like, "Listen to this." I was like, "Okay, this sounds pretty interesting. It sounds cool." And then you were like, "Wait until the narration." And at that moment, I collectively lost it because I was like, narration, and then the voice comes and it's like, the evil wizard Zargothrax. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, and it just like goes and goes and goes. You're like,
it doesn't end.
You're like, okay, so this evil wizard, okay, he's doing this, oh, he's doing that too, oh, now they're all preparing for battle. It's pretty wild.
I have a strange feeling like it's like supposed to be like a hammy parody silly, but they also take themselves very seriously in the way they narrate.
They take it really seriously on stage, yeah. And in they've been talking about doing the third album where like Zargothrax gets lost in time and Angus MacFife has to go back in time to defeat him. But I'm looking forward to that. But I don't think it's going to happen.
Is this Samurai Jack?
Yeah, it's basically the Samurai Jack plot. But they're that's probably not going to happen this year, but I'm looking forward to it when it does. So,
oh my gosh,
if the artists behind this love Level 99 Games, we enjoy your work too.
Yeah, collab with us and we'll make an entire Millennium Blade set out of you.
I would do that. I would make a Millennium Blade set for Gloryhammer. That'd be great.
Oh my gosh! Of course, the deck box has to be the Gloryhammer.
Has to be the actual hammer.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay.
So what have you been listening to, Marco?
Okay, I've been listening to something different. So when we decided on this segment, Brad was like, what we've been listening to. And I'm like, aha, loophole. It doesn't have to be music. So because the thing is, I can talk about my taste in music, but then I believe like over half or maybe like 100% of our listeners will completely just lose all respect for me the moment they find out the kind of music I like. So let's not talk about that, and instead let's talk about what I've been listening to, which are various real play role-playing game podcasts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'll just talk about one. It's the one I've been dedicatedly listening to for a while now, and of course I keep listening to it every week. It's a podcast called The Adventure Zone, made by three brothers and their dad. So it's three brothers and their dad play Dungeons and Dragons and various other RPG systems together. And a lot of these guys are actually like comedian / writers. So when they do RPGs and stuff, like they get really into it. So the story gets really, really nice and the characters are so well written, and I feel like they do representation very well, and they all do it while being relatively funny. It's pretty fun. I've it's recently sparked a lot of my itch to do role playing games. So because of listening to the Adventure Zone, I've been wanting to make some role playing games myself, and I'm actually about to start a session of Strike this week.
What is Strike?
Strike's an RPG system that has Fate?
Yeah.
It's kind of like Fate, but then they have tactical combat.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah, so like setting agnostic, bare bones system that isn't really complex. It's just roll 1d6 for every check, and it has tactical combat. So yeah, I'm starting a game in that. Okay, wait. Before we digress too much, Brad, tell me, what's our next segment? Because you got to choose this one this week.
I did. I got to choose this week. I'd actually like to do some more dev talk this week.
Brad talks about development.
Yeah. The segment formerly known as Brad Talks About Development.
Yeah, I mean, somebody suggested us a name, and it was something along the lines of like that segment where Brad speaks about developing games. I'm like, that's the same thing as Brad Talks About Development, so
it's different. There's different words and everything.
Yeah, but it's like synonymous. They just made it longer.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, let me talk about development. Because Imperial's coming along really well, and Seventh Cross is coming along well, and we are in the balance phases for Dev Remastered. So we're making progress on multiple fronts, and I can tell you about my latest challenge for Seventh Cross, because this has been kind of a difficult part, is putting together the adventure book. So
like the rule book or the adventure book?
The adventure book, the actual so in the game you set out this map and you say, okay, we're going to go to a stage, and you walk along the map until you reach a stage, and then when you hit that stage, you open the book, and whatever's in the stage pops out. It's either like a monster you have to fight, or a decision you have to make, or an NPC you meet, or a puzzle you have to solve, or some other kind of encounter, right? And all of those things have to be organized into the book by number, so that when you land on a stage, you can flip to the right page and find it. But even more than that, certain characters will discover certain items. Maybe the choices that you made will be what's the word I'm looking for? The choices you made will be recorded somehow. Yeah, like which choices link back to which decisions, or like if I made this decision like 5 stages ago, how is the repercussions going to affect me later? That sort of thing. So all those go into the book, and it's a really huge organizational task. And if you Google search for tutorials on how to write a paragraph adventure game, there aren't too many. So I've kind of had to learn as I go about this. But
because it does kind of feel like those choose your own adventure books, right?
A little bit. It's more like I almost think of it kind of like Super Mario Brothers 3, where there's like a map out here, and you go to a stage, whoop, 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 and then you hit enter, and then you enter the place, and sometimes it's like a stage you have to go through. Sometimes it's a mini boss, like the little Hammer Brother bosses. Sometimes it's a mushroom house that just has goodies in it, that sort of thing.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I had in mind for this game. But keeping all those stages organized, and the monsters, and when you clear a stage, sometimes you get special gear that's unique to a character, and I don't want to give out the same gear twice, or the same clues twice. And anyway, so I built a big database, and I've got everything organized into the database. And then the database tells me what headers and footers go on each paragraph, so that they link together correctly, and so that they clear each other correctly. When you finish a stage, you put a little sticker on it, bam, and that lets you know that you can go past that stage next time you're traversing the map.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Wait, sticker?
Yeah.
That'll be hard to peel off.
Well, they're removable stickers. I've been testing them out, and they work just fine.
Okay, that sounds
great. I
stuck
them all over everything before I went on vacation, and now I came back and I've been peeling them off. And they've peeled off just fine. So I think that removable stickers are no problem. But also, these stages are like one and done. Like, you finish the stage, and then, I could go back and read about, how this guy wants to sell me a thing again, but I already bought the thing, so what's the point? Now, boss stages, you can replay them on different difficulties. So the bosses are replayable. And that's kind of the end game, is that you get all the stuff and then you go back and you fight the bosses again on challenge mode if you want to play more and more. Or you could just create your own castles. They're not too hard to create once you get the hang of it. So I might create some kind of software for that. I don't know. But
Ooh,
there's a lot of castles in this game, and each castle is 10 hours long or so. I mean,
10 hours.
I think that people will, when they beat the final castle, they'll probably be done with the game, and if they aren't, they can go beat the bonus castles, which are even harder. And by that point, they'll probably really be done with the game.
That's so interesting. So I never actually realized this, but you are basically making Seventh Cross in such a way that is it kind of like Seafall in that there is an end?
Yeah, I mean, you unravel all the mysteries and conspiracies of the world, and then you reach the end of the campaign and you fight the final bosses. So yeah, I mean, you can still go on adventures. There are still bonus bosses and more challenges ahead, and if you want to fight them, but it's kind of like Final Fantasy in that you go to the cave, you beat Sephiroth. You could go and go get Knights of the Round and all the gold chocobos and everything, but maybe that's up to you if you want to do all that extra stuff and delve deeper.
This is so interesting. That's so interesting to me. I'm so sorry. It's I only realized this now. I never knew that this was a quote-unquote video game experience. You know what I mean? Wherein you have a planned end to the thing.
Yeah. This is a story-driven adventure game.
Oh, that's awesome. I thought it was just you would just randomly generate castles.
I started that way, and I did work off of that premise for a long time, but I just didn't like it. There are too many games that are just generate a castle or generate a dungeon, and they don't really immerse you in the characters that you're playing as, or in the world that you're playing as. So I really wanted, you play through this game and you learn about the world, and your understanding grows with the characters. And the characters all have their own subplots that you can go out and continue on, and they're not just Hunter and Sorcerer and Bard. They're actually named characters with their own past experiences and their own backgrounds, kind of like a traditional RPG that you unravel and get to know them and get to know why they've done the things they've done and what they have done in the past and how it's determined their fate, and what their goals are, etc.
Oh my gosh. This has me super excited about it.
I'm pretty excited. It's going to be a lot of work.
I can finish.
But I've got about 2 castles written so far.
How many castles do you plan?
I'm planning on having 13 in the game, but depending on how the Kickstarter does, how the art budget does, and how quickly everything comes together, I might have a few extras. So we'll see. I mean, I've got 18 castles brainstormed, but I'm only taking the top 12 right now, or the top 13 right now. Well, I am taking the top 12 because the 13th one is the backer created castle.
Yeah, the fun house of madness, as I would like to call it.
Pretty much, yeah. So if you want to put your favorite monster in the game, or you want to create an NPC in the game, or you want to put some other kind of cool bonus content in the game, that'll be an option that's available. Make a special weapon for one of the hunters or something. That'll be
awesome.
This 13th castle that we're building.
I would need enough money to be able to go and create an NPC, and then my NPC, all he does is say the word brawler. That's all he'll do.
Oh my gosh.
Talk to him. You talk to him, he'll just say brawler. It is gonna be the best NPC.
Oh man. Yeah. Will he be sitting there teaching people how to play BattleCon?
Yes, but only by saying the word brawler.
I see. It's some kind of secret code. You can make him a puzzle, and then it's a cipher puzzle, and you have to decipher what he's actually saying, or what the meaning is behind the brawls.
What's the meaning behind the brawlers?
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Oh, you have me so excited about this game, and yet you refuse to put it on TTS for me to test.
It's not that I refuse. It's that we're still in the process of making all the content. Like, there's massive amounts of content in this game. And like I said, just this weekend, I sat down and made my database so that I could actually put together the adventure book. So now I can compile the adventure book and make it playable. So we'll see. I mean, it's coming together. There are no more big system changes or anything. So that's good.
Oh, that sounds great.
It's just a matter of building all the content.
Does this mean you know who all of the playable hunters are at this point? Mostly.
I'm kind of waiting to decide if I'm going to put in some of the more exotic ones. So, like, I don't know if I'm hoping that I'll get an opportunity to put Remlis in, then I'll get an opportunity to put Taisei in, then I'll get an opportunity to put Minato in. But currently, I'm just planning for a smaller cast, and I will raise that number if we hit some stretch goal castles and stuff.
Yes, I see. Put Minato in, please. I need my Turbo Teen.
Yeah.
My Turbo Teen. I love him so much.
Turbo Teen?
You don't know Turbo Teen?
Is this like a reference to Wreck-It Ralph? Like, it's Turbo time?
No. Turbo Teen is a cartoon from, like, I don't know what era, but the point here is that there is a guy and he's riding his hot rod, right? And he accidentally crashes the hot rod in a derelict science facility wherein there's this quantum reconfiguration ray that fuses him with his car. Now, every time he gets physically warm, he turns into a car.
Oh, man. This is like the plot of another song album, actually.
Are you
I'm trying to figure out where there's like it's like a synthwave album by this guy called Kaspersky or something, and it starts off with the guy, like the kid is driving down the street in the middle of a storm, and then he crashes the car and a bolt of lightning strikes, and he and the car are fused together as one, forever wandering the night in search of his true love, or something like that.
Sounds like Turbo Teen.
Yeah, after this, I'll let me see. I know it's in here. It's Kavinsky. Kavinsky is the name. And I'll have you post the YouTube link in the description so everybody can listen to it. But it's great. It's real great.
Oh my gosh. All right, send me the link, and if you want to listen to basically what is a Turbo Teen album, please check the description of this podcast. Okay, Brad, do you have anything else to talk about development, or do we go to our 99 questions where we answer questions?
Let's answer some questions.
Heck yes. Welcome to the 99 questions segment where you ask questions that Brad and I will answer. Brad, tell me, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Are you ready?
I already said yes.
Let's get it on!
Yay!
You don't.
Okay.
You don't watch MMA, do you? You don't watch like boxing or MMA?
No, I've just never been interested in real fighting. I don't like a lot of violence, Marco. I don't like a lot of violence.
I'm only interested in fake violence.
Yeah, pretty much. You know,
that's true. I guess fake violence is better than real violence,
right?
My
ideal violence is like Smash Brothers, where they hit you with a giant flower and you fly off the screen.
Or a fan. They hit you with a fan.
Yeah, they hit you with a paper fan and you go like psh, like meteor smash off the screen.
And then you explode.
Yeah, I know a fan doesn't actually meteor smash, guys. Okay, but you don't have to call me out in the comments. It was just an example.
We had a fiction here, okay, everyone? Fiction.
It's an alternative. Okay. It's an alternative smash.
Alternative smash. Okay, I'm super stoked to hear about the plans for 7th Cross with the vertical board.
Is this you or the question asker?
No, the question asker.
Okay, I don't think you made it clear that the question was starting.
All right. The question is starting. I am super stoked to hear about the plans for 7th Cross with the vertical board. What is the plan to ensure stability so that clumsy or heavy-handed players don't knock everything down when moving a miniature?
So the board will have some feet, and the board will be a little bit thicker and heavier than you might you might think. Also, the tiles, the spaces that characters sit on, are going to be fairly big, so you'll have room to reach in and work with them. Finally, the board is angled backwards a little bit so that the spaces are opened up a little bit more, and you can see more light can get down to all the minis. So all those factors together will help the board from pitching over. I mean, it's kind of hard to knock over something that's got that wide of a base and that shallow of a height. And it's about, I'd say it's a little larger than a Connect 4 board, and those are pretty hard to knock over unless you're really trying.
Can we play Connect 4 using the board?
No, you probably can't. Well, I guess you could if one player takes like the fire tokens and one player takes the ice tokens, and you Connect 4. But anyway, the point is, the board we got a 3D printer, so one of the reasons we did was so that we could build prototypes of this board and test it. So we're going to do a lot of internal testing to make sure the board is just right before we go to press. So this will not be something where the first time you see it is the first time we see it. We will have tested this quite a bit before it goes to production.
Oh, that's gonna be great! I can't wait to see it. I'm so excited to I think one thing about Seventh Cross that I'm gonna be really excited about is posting screen pictures,
photos of your copy in action.
Yeah, it'd be so cool.
Yeah, I think that because everything's gonna look like a diorama once you set it up.
Exactly.
It's gonna make quite a scene.
It's gonna be sugoi desu. Okay, next question, Brad. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, I think this is relating to what we were talking about in the development. Is Seventh Cross going to be a legacy game where the castles are play once and done? It sounded like that with the whole advent calendar type stages, but I wasn't too sure.
Yeah, so like I was saying earlier, once you play through a stage and you get the story, there's no real reason to play through that stage again. You can replay the battles, and you can replay the battles on hard mode to get better achievements and better points. And actually, by beating the battles on with a certain, so the battles are not just like you win or you lose. You win or you lose or you win, but when you win, you have a grade. And if your grade is high enough, you get extra bonus rewards and stuff. So there's a reason to replay battles for a better score. And it's actually by getting a high enough score across all the battles that you unlock the true final dungeon.
This is sounding more and more just like a video game that you've put on paper.
I mean, that's kind of the idea, I guess. But I mean, it doesn't necessarily sound like a video game. It sounds more like, I don't know. I guess there's some video game inspiration, but in a lot of cases,
do you mean some? What do you mean some?
I mean, just because video games have done a thing doesn't mean it's a video game thing, right?
That's fair.
Like D&D has been doing this kind of thing for years.
Okay, that's fair.
And so, I mean, it's like saying, once you finish Baldur's Gate, is there a reason to go play it again? Like, well, yeah, you go clean up all the other stuff, but you don't want to play the main plot again. That's not as interesting. But that's fine because I think a lot of games try to deliver this endless experience these days, and it's just not that important that a game be endlessly replayable. I mean, like Dead Cells, like I could play that game as many times as I want, but the reality is that I played it for like 20 hours and I'm done. Whereas a game like, say, like Zelda Breath of the Wild, I'm probably never going to play it again, but it did take me, 40 to 60 hours to finish it, and there's still a bunch of bonus content I could do if I wanted to. So I'd say the directed experience, a designed, crafted game experience, is more interesting and more memorable than an endless number of randomly generated game experiences. And I'd kind of like to hear what our fans think about that, because that's my personal opinion. But what do you think? Leave us a comment and let us know.
Leave us a comment. Let us know. I'd like to know too, because I think I'm on the opposite side of that camp. I love the randomly generated stuff.
Yeah, but what's the most memorable RPG that you've ever played?
I mean, there's no such thing as a procedurally generated RPG.
Okay, what's the most memorable game that you've ever played?
Oh, memorable game.
What would you say is your number one game of all time?
Oh, that's not fair, Brad. That's not fair. It's Final Fantasy 3.
Final Fantasy 3,
Japan.
right? Okay, yeah, which
Japan.
was 6 in America, right? Or sorry, it was 3 in America, but it's 6 in the canon.
No, I'm talking about Final Fantasy 3 Japan.
Oh, so not the one with Terra and Locke and all them.
No, the one with the Onion Knights.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yes.
I haven't played that one. I was a big fan of 6. So.
Oh, you. There's a DS version. You have no excuse to not play it. Oh.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I think I even have the DS version.
Brad, please. It is so good. I mean, like,
but I guess
here's the thing.
But yeah, like directed game experiences, right? It's games like Final Fantasy, Chrono Trigger, Earthbound, like some of the Zelda games, some of the those sorts of things. Like there's an event happens in the game and it's really memorable, and you get caught on that point where something big happened in the game, like in Final Fantasy VII when the plot changes, with Eris, and like in what's another good one? Like in Dishonored, right? When you finish Dishonored, and then like you'd find out there's more plot at the end of that game. Like that was a big turning moment. Or even in like BioShock, where you meet Andrew Ryan.
I was about to say.
Like those are the kind of things that you remember about a game. And games like Dead Cells, or games like, a Sky Full of Stars, or, roguelikes, like they just don't generate that experience.
Yeah, they don't. I mean, like, because those games rely on you forming your own narrative to what's happening, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess I understand that. Like, if I try to look back on all of like the most memorable gaming experiences I've had, they're usually tied to directed experiences, which makes sense, right? Because those things are engineered to be memorable.
Well, that's what direction is all about, right? I mean, it's like, procedural generated games are cool, but they're like the reality TV of video games. You log in, you play for an hour, you get a unique experience, but then you turn it off and the experience is gone. Like nobody remembers a great episode of reality TV. Like nobody remembers a great episode of what's the word? Like Property Brothers. The way you remember a good episode of, say, like what was I thinking
Niners,
of?
Drive-Ins, and Dives,
or Lost, or Heroes, or that kind of stuff. You like those kind of shows, like something happens and it's a big deal, like Warehouse 13. Like you really get into it, but nobody gets into reality shows that
Property
way.
Brothers.
Yeah.
Property Brothers, my goodness.
Property Brothers is what's always on at the gym that I go to.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
When I go to the gym, it's always Property Brothers.
That makes I just imagine you like running and sweating, and then like a bunch of like two twins on the TV are like, "Yes, we'll buy your house for $40,000."
No, I listen to audiobooks. Absolutely, audiobooks.
Okay.
I see. I went through Mistborn trilogy recently. That was really good. We should talk about that next time on what you're listening to. I'll tell you about audiobooks.
Sure. Okay, so next question, and actually the last question of this podcast. Brad, this is very important, so you better answer this.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Will Devastation Remastered make the current Devastation obsolete? Like, will I have to pick up Remastered to keep up with the current releases, if that makes sense? Thank you. A very nice question. They say thank you at the end.
Well, so Devastation Remastered is, it is going to obsolete a lot of the characters. They will be updated. That said, we will be offering a upgrade patch that will, give you upgrades to the characters. So, if you plan to play those characters in competitive tournaments, you'll probably want to get the upgrade kit. But if you're not planning to play them in tournaments and you just want to keep playing your Devastation set, then it's just fine. I wouldn't worry too much about that. So, if you feel like the game is alive for you and you want to keep up with it and keep up with the tournament meta and the game scene, then you probably want to upgrade, and you'll probably want the storage box anyway that we're making, because that seems to be what everybody has asked for.
Always.
But, if you don't, then there's no reason, there's no mandatory upgrade, right? So
Brad will come to your house
and see, oh, you're playing Obsolete Devastation. Nobody expects the level 99 game's Inquisition.
Oh my god. You mean 7th Cross?
Yeah, nobody expects 7th Cross.
Oh my gosh. People on the, a lot of new people have come into the community, and a lot of them were like, level 99 games has so many cool games, so many cool worlds. And somebody was like, wait, if the game's called 7th Cross, what happened to the other 6? I'm like, they exist and they have functions?
Yeah. There's all 7 of them are in, well, 6 of them are in the world. 2nd Cross was destroyed in the incident, which we no longer speak of. But yeah, they all exist. They all have different roles. First Cross is headquarters. 3rd Cross, they have all the dangerous artifacts. It's called the museum. 4th Cross is like academy where they train everybody. You think I'm joking, but 2nd Cross actually was destroyed in the incident long ago.
No, I'm not joking.
They don't speak of.
Okay, so 2nd Cross, like, we don't know what it does because nobody wants to talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay. 5th Cross.
5th Cross is the library, and they basically research magic, so that they can suppress it there.
Okay.
6th is the Inquisition, and they are kind of a paramilitary that kind of helps control world governments. And then 7th are the hunters, and they go out and they hunt all these crazy monsters and evil sorcerers and stuff. And so the players play as a 7th Cross hunter team, and so that's why the game's called 7th Cross.
Wait a minute. You said 1st Cross is HQ? Don't you mean 1st Cross is Illuminati?
Basically, yeah.
Wait.
I mean, they're a secret society that controls, most world governments and etc. So yeah, I guess they're kind of like the Illuminati, but I think the Illuminati is something different in this world. They haven't been fully formed yet either. The
Illuminati is like baby child's play compared to the 1st Cross. Wait, so these are all crosses of the church, right?
Yeah, those are the 7 branches.
Wait, so question, is the church in 7th Cross like the church?
No, it's not a religious organization.
I see. So their leader is not the Pope.
Their leader is not the Pope. No.
What's their leader called then?
The Grand Arbiter.
Okay, I see. So I see. All right, we Warhammer now, boys. All right, okay, we're Warhammer now. I see. Okay, I get where this is going.
Okay, yeah. Then in 7th Cross 2, they're in space, and an evil sorcerer is trying to open a galactic portal to hell.
Yeah, and by opening it, he hits a little boy in a car and turns into Turbo Teen.
I see. All right, yep. Plot's unraveled. There's no more. No, I don't need to make this game anymore.
Yeah, and why even spend more than 2 hours on this? We finished it in 1 minute. So that pretty much does it for this 99 question segment, where we answer all of your hot pressing questions.
And questions you didn't ask.
Yeah, such as the entire plot to 7th Cross. Thank you. Now you don't need to buy the game. No, seriously though, buy the game. It sounds really hype.
We'll tell you more about it when it gets closer.
Yeah, when it gets closer. All right, so Brad, as much as I would love to do one more segment with you, I think we've gone a little bit over time with all of our 7th Cross digressions.
Yeah, we've been rambling a bit, but it's been good.
Oh my gosh, you have so many good games I want, and it's like there's still Mystic Empyrean coming up. The aforementioned Indine's RPG that you still won't release.
Well, let me tell you, Marco, there's so many good games that I want. Like, I just need to sit down and make stuff, because there's a lot of games that we really just want to finish so that we can play them too.
Oh my gosh, Brad, you need to do that thing, go to the nearby Ninja Academy and steal that scroll that lets you make shadow clones of yourself.
I need one of these Dragon Ball Z time compression chambers.
Hyperbolic time chambers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go in and you train for a year, except you develop games for a year, and then you pop out and you've got all these games finished. Aha, now I'm ready to defeat Frieza.
Yeah, and like you have the Jumanji Robin Williams beard. You go, what year is it?
Oh man. Yep.
So I guess for you that makes no sense because you already have a beard.
Well, it would be a Castaway beard, a Tom Hanks Castaway beard instead.
What would be your Wilson?
Gosh, I don't know who would be my Wilson. Maybe this plush of Seth that's on my desk.
Wait, you have a Seth plush?
Yeah, when we had those yarn dolls that were part of the Devastation campaign or the War Remastered campaign, and you could get those yarn dolls. Well, I had got one, and I have Seth sitting here on my desk.
Oh my gosh, Elephant's gonna be so upset that he can't get those yarn dolls.
Well, I mean, it's still a possibility.
Ooh. Okay, let's stop teasing this. Oh my gosh, Brad, let's end this podcast before we ramble more about Seth plushies.
Okay. All right.
And that pretty much does it for this episode of the Level Cap Podcast. If you guys liked what you listened to, like the news, like the lore, like Brad talking about development stuff, please tell us in the comment section down below. And if you want, please share this podcast with a friend who may or may not like the podcast. Even if they don't like it, share it. Like, the word of mouth is really important. And again, we don't pay to advertise this show, because this entire show is kind of an advertisement in and of itself.
I mean, if you like the show, you know about the show. If you think other people like the show, tell them about the show. You don't have to start at episode 1. You can start right here. It's probably better anyway. The show is not... Hey. There's no continuous canon that you have to track from the very beginning.
Yeah, that's true.
You'll pick up all the memes really quick.
Yeah, you'll pick up all the memes. It's Marco's fault and all that stuff.
It's like the Dark Souls of memes.
Yeah, it's the Dark Souls of memes. So I also realized that this podcast isn't up on iTunes yet, so we're going to try to get it up on iTunes and Stitcher as soon as possible. So if you wanted to listen to it on those podcast apps, we'll try to get it there as soon as possible. Otherwise, you have the RSS feed, and you can just feed that into whatever podcast app you have, and they will get that for you. Again, thank you very much for listening to this episode of the Level Cap Podcast. As usual, it's been me, your host, Marco DeSantos, also known as Mechanocritic / Kami, and with me has been my revitalized co-host,
Brad,
the man himself.
Yay, me, Vital. Woo, I'm back. Yep. But I guess you knew that because we're at the end of the podcast. So anyway, see you next time. Keep playing games, and as usual, happy gaming.
Happy gaming. Don't forget your 4 special action.
Or otherwise.